Just went over the AC joint, and we kind of went over the shoulder joint, the GH joint. Now we're going to kind of get into the muscles a little bit. Okay?
Which one was the GH?
The multi-directional instability, the anterior and posterior apprehension.
All of
That's
them.
the
Okay.
joint that we're working with.
Okay.
Okay? So I'm going to have you stand up. So the first one we're going to do is called the drop arm test. Drop arm test. Or it's also called Codman sign. Okay? C-O-D-M-A-N sign. And what I'm going to have him do, scoot up this way just a little more. There you go. I'm going to bring his arms up to 90 degrees of abduction, okay? And a little bit of horizontal adduction, okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? This is called the scapular plane, so when you do a lot of shoulder stuff, you want it in the scapular plane, which isn't just straight out. It's about 30 degrees of abduction, horizontal abduction, okay? And so I'm going to bring his arms up here. I'm going to have him hold them there and have him slowly return his hands to his side. So slowly return your hands to your side. There you go. So this is obviously a negative sign. Oftentimes, this one's you're not going to find positive very often. But if you do, it's definitely something significant. What you're looking for is for them to, A, not be able to hold this up here, or B, when they're dropping down, they have to just like drop it. Like they can't gradually return it down to their side under control. They just have to drop it. That's going to be the positive sign. That's what's called the drop arm test.
What were the measurements, the degrees of
It's
30?
90 degrees of abduction,
Mm.
and then 30 degrees of horizontal adduction. Okay? And so if they can't hold their arm up here, or they can't slowly and gradually under control return it down to their side, you're thinking more rotator cuff pathology, okay? So that's going to be the positive sign, the drop arm, implicating rotator cuff pathology. All right? So the next one I'm going to have him do is I'm going to have him maintain that same position. He'll get up there, only this time I'm going to put his thumbs down, okay? So now his thumbs are down, and he's going to resist me as I push down, okay? So I'm pushing down, he's pushing up. What you're looking for is you're looking for weakness, and so I was looking for something like this. Just relax this side a little. So if I was pushing down and this arm went like that, okay? Or if he had excruciating pain while doing that. All right? So weakness or pain on this test is a positive sign. Sorry, this is also called empty can test. Sorry.
Empty can.
Empty can. So full can, empty can. Full can.
Full hands, thumbs up.
Full can, yep. Full can, thumb up. Empty can, thumb down. Just like you're pouring out the can. So empty can. It's in that scapular plane, so 90 degrees of abduction, 30 degrees of horizontal adduction. Okay? And then positive sign, pain or weakness. And that indicates, again, rotator cuff pathology, specifically the supraspinatus. Okay? So this one specifically attacks basically the supraspinatus of the rotator cuff. And so if they have pain or weakness, you're suspecting there may be a tear in the supraspinatus or something that's causing them that pain. All right? So I'm going to have you grab a seat right here. Actually, let's have you sit where Cotton is. Let's have you guys switch places. So your feet are hanging out there. Alright, so this one is called Gerber liftoff test. Okay?
Oh, sorry.
Like Gerber baby, Gerber liftoff. Alright, so what I'm going to have him do is I'm going to have him take his hand and place it on the small of his back. Okay, everyone knows the smaller your back is, or basically the lower back. Alright, so I'm going to have him put it in that position. From there, I'm going to have him push his hand out towards my finger. Push, there you go. Okay, so once he's gotten that position, go ahead and push it out. Now I'm going to tell him to resist me pushing in. So no, I'm pushing in. Okay, good. So again, pain or weakness. So this one you'd want to check bilaterally. Okay, positive sign is pain or weakness, and that indicates, again, rotator cuff pathology, but this time is more subscapularis than supraspinatus. Okay? So that's more of a subscapularis motion. Okay? last one, I'm gonna have him stand up. Alright, come over to the wall over here. So this is just called a wall push-up. Okay? And so you're gonna put your feet about as far as I am, maybe a little bit further just because you're taller. From the wall. Okay? And so now you're just going to put your hands in here as if you're in a push-up position. Okay? And then you're just gonna call what's protract, retract. So you go here, and then you come here. Okay. Guys, so what I have him do is I basically have him weight bearing on his hands. Okay? And I'm having him go through a protract and retract range of motion. Okay? What we're looking for is we're looking to see if the scapulas have the same pattern. And what we're specifically looking for is we're looking for what's called scapular winging. Does everyone know what that is?
Yes.
Scapular winging. And so when he weight bears and then he goes into retraction and protraction, so now push out, there you go, and come in, and just do that a couple times. This scapula, rather than rotating like this, is going to kind of come more like this.
When it wings.
When it wings, yep. And so it can be unilateral or it can be bilateral. Alright? So what we're doing is we're looking for the scapular winging, and then that's going to indicate, it could indicate possible damage to the long thoracic nerve. Okay? Which controls the serratus anterior, which helps keep the scapula in that scapular plane.
What was that nerve?
The long thoracic nerve.
What's this test called? The
Wall push-up.
Oh.
So the positive sign is scapular winging, and that indicates possible damage to the long thoracic nerve. Okay? So we have the empty can, drop arm, Gerber lift off, and wall push-up. Let's go practice those four.